Hi, this is Konana, and we are going to watch a game that should be very exciting. It is Sangho versus SaviOr at Blue Storm, and this is being played for the GOM-TV3 MSL, and this is the Group E winners for the MSL, and this game was played on September the 22nd. So we'll have to see how this game turns out. SaviOr recently has been in a little bit of a slump. It's not really a slump, he just hasn't been able to play his best lately. So he hasn't been able to play that well lately ever since he was beaten by Bisu in the MSL 2 seasons ago. But here we see the game is just starting, and we see here that as the Protoss, we see Sangho at the top right, and at the bottom left we see that SaviOr is going to be the Zerg at the bottom left. So what I'm interested to see here is how SaviOr is going to play on this map, because we know that he usually has a very macro orientated build. So I want to know if he plays aggressively. It's not going to be that good to macro in this map for Zerg, however, because the natural is quite far away from the main. So it could be a little bit risky to get your natural at your 12th drone. So I'll be surprised to see what happens. We know that most Protosses will fast expand, and it looks like Sangho is going to do a fast expand here. Again, I'm very curious about how he's going to fast expand, because the choke is very big, and you have to defend your nexus as well as your main. You don't want Zerglings running up your main, so I'm going to see how he kind of walls that off, so the Zerglings have to go around, but he also has to protect his nexus, so I want to see how he puts his placement of cannons. We see here that SaviOr is making a hatchery, a spawning pool, so he is actually going to go for a low economy fast attack, and he is getting his early extractor, so this could be a tech build, it could be his speedling build. We've noticed that SaviOr hasn't actually scouted yet, and Sangho should be throwing up a forge fairly shortly because he sees the spawning pool first. I think that it may be a little bit a bad idea for SaviOr to do that build, because it's quite a long way across the map. However, I'm still not seeing a very good placement there by Sangho. We haven't seen much of his placement, but if it's a bad placement, what will work really well is speedlings. So we see here that it doesn't look like he's going speedlings. SaviOr is still getting gas. He's probably upgrading speedlings right now. But, okay, never mind. He's pulling his drones off his gas. This means he's getting speedlings. Sangho has probably seen this, and Sangho is making 2 cannons. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. That's really bad placement. Zerglings can run past. They can surround the cannons. That's a really bad placement. Even with some support with Zealots, Zerglings can really destroy that. Sangho does know that what build is coming up now, because once those drones are off the extractor, Sangho knows that SaviOr is getting his speedlings and not going to go for tech. So SaviOr is going to have to try and do as much damage as possible. I think Sangho probably will want to add a 3rd cannon fairly shortly before getting his nexus, or maybe getting his nexus. But it's going to be fairly risky because that's a very bad positioning. We see here that the first 6 Zerglings for SaviOr coming up, and they're probably not going to attack, but SaviOr will start building up his amount of Zerglings. I'm really interested to see how SaviOr is going to play this, because SaviOr usually has macro-orientated builds, as I said earlier, and this is a low economy style that he's doing right now. Right now he's containing Sangho, so no scouts get out, but we see that speedlings has been upgraded, and he is taking his natural SaviOr. Looks like SaviOr will take out the scouting probe again. Sangho has no idea what SaviOr is doing, except for the fact that there's going to be speedlings. He's pulling some probes because he knows that an attack might happen quite shortly, and this is a very dangerous position. You can see he's adding his 3rd cannon, and here comes the attack! The Zerglings are attacking, and 1 cannon is about to go down! There's a lot of probes still here. I'm not sure how many Zerglings are left. A couple of Zerglings, 3 Zerglings got through, and they're going to try and do as much harassment as possible, distracting those probes, probably taking out that pylon. Doing any damage they can. Probably want to take out those probes. You see here that Sangho doesn't even have his assimilator yet. He is very focused on keeping his natural. And here comes another attack, flanked on both sides. One cannon is about to go down, and it's almost down. And oh, it was about two 2 hits away from going down. So you can see that SaviOr, that last attack really didn't do much damage, but it's really pressuring Sangho, forcing him to get more defense before he gets some units and some attack. But you see here that SaviOr has a really relatively low drone count in comparison to Sangho. Sangho has a very large amount of probes. And another attack coming in here. One cannon goes down, 2 Zerglings make it back in. SaviOr looks like he's going to try and do a little bit more damage, probably take out a few probes. 1 Zergling goes down. You can see how focused SaviOr is. He's using every last Zergling, and he uses them to do the most damage that he can. And you can see the Zergling is doing quite a lot of damage, distracting those probes so they can't mine, and even killing a few too, but it does go down after a while. You see that SaviOr's still pumping his Zerglings, not sure if he's getting gas yet, but Sangho does get a scout in. SaviOr did not manage to kill that one before it got in. And SaviOr's still not getting any gas. He's going to have to start getting gas quite shortly though, because the tech for Sangho is starting to go underway. He is getting his gas now. So SaviOr is he is getting his more drones up right now though, and then he's going to probably start getting gas, because if he uses his drones on gas too early, he's not going to have many minerals. So you see here that Sangho is still very worried. He knows his placement is still bad, that lots of Zerglings can just run past there, so he's putting zealots and probes there. Looks like another scout will be intercepted there by some Zerglings. And it looks like these Zerglings are going to try and run past, or they're just going to try and harass, probably distract Sangho. Sangho is getting his Stargate up, so there are going to be Corsairs very shortly. This build can lead to 2 things. Either he's just going to get 1 Stargate, or 1 Corsair, and just use it for scouting and a little bit of harassing. Or maybe he's going to do the DT Sair build that Bisu made, or he's actually going to do the Reaver Sair build. There's a few more differences, but you see here that SaviOr is getting his tech up now. No, we don't see a Hydralisk Den yet, so we're not quite sure if he's going to be doing okay, never mind, there's the Hydralisk Den. So we see here that SaviOr is going to do a build with lurkers, most likely. And here a small force by Sangho is pushing out. SaviOr is probably going to just try and pick off those probes, because probes are very, very useful in a small attacking force for Protoss. And looks like 1 probe is going to go down. Another stray zealot is going to be picked off by SaviOr. SaviOr playing this very well. Actually, it didn't get picked off, but it did get its shields depleted. We see that the Corsair is being produced, and we see a Citadel of a Dune. So this is looking very much like the DC Sair build, but it could also be just Corsair, 1 Corsair into Templar. But we see here that these zealots are going to be attacked by drones and Zerglings. I don't know if those drones are actually helping or not, because these zealots are taking out a lot of Zerglings. I think those drones might have actually been bad, because they kind of blocked the Zerglings, but I'm not quite sure if they helped or didn't. They did some damage though. So right now it's pretty even. No sides have had really much that much damage done to them. You see a Templar Archives coming up and a second gate coming up. 1 Corsair out, killing some Overlords. So SaviOr is going to have to clump his Overlords together so he can protect them with Hydras. We see that another Corsair has been produced, and so this Overlord is going to go down. We see more gateways, and we don't see more Corsairs, but it might happen soon. This looks very much like a DT Sair build that Bisu made, just because they get a couple of Corsairs, and they kill those Overlords while going Dark Templars. You see here that SaviOr is starting to get his macro up, making a lot of hatcheries. But these Corsairs are getting a good amount of scouting in. SaviOr, I'm not sure what he's going to do. He might still go... Okay, we see a Dark Templar. There's a Dark Templar already out. 2 Dark Templars already out. So this is looking very much like the build that Bisu invented. SaviOr really needs to get a Spore up, or possibly some Overlords with speed. These Dark Templars are going to be able to do a lot of damage to some of these bases here. Especially this one. This one's not even protected at all. I think that SaviOr does know this, though. I'm not sure if he is going to be prepared, though. There's no overlords here. And these Dark Templars are coming. They're going to be able to kill a lot of drones here. And SaviOr... Okay, an overlord just... Oh my god, that was just perfect timing. Overlord came out right as the Dark Templar came. And SaviOr didn't lose a single drone. So that was just perfect timing there. So I'm not sure how this is going to work. There's no more Corsairs are being produced. So this could mean that... High Templars are going to be produced. Since the counter to DT Sair is pretty much mass Hydras, because the enemy, the Protoss, won't have Storm, I'll be surprised if SaviOr will keep going mass Hydras, because there are Templar out, as I said before. We see a robotics facility coming out for observers, and I don't know if SaviOr has been researching upgrades like Carapace, or if he's been